People ask if there's a secret to success and a secret to some of the businesses I've done. On Shark Tank, there was a question there that asked me whether I use my own money. People ask me, would I ever play Survivor again? You don't get fed, you're cold, you're freezing. I think you get a bit twisted. So would I do it again? It's kind of a bit addictive. No, there was a time when I was in Tenerife, Spain. Literally had guys in the back of my car and I was trying to find a safe place for them because they had a contract on their lives. And I went, I'm serious trouble here. Thank you so much for asking all the questions. There has been hundreds. I'm going to try and get through as many as I can, so bear with me. So the first question is, when am I going to be on the screen again? It's a very good question. The answer is, I would say you will see me on the screen, dirty and hungry, at the end of this year. Watch this space. My thoughts on this season of Survivor. Oh, look, I think it's great. I think that, I know that the conditions for this particular Survivor was really tough. I spoke to some of the producers and the weather was horrific. And I don't think the audience appreciates how horrific it is at 2 o'clock in the morning to sit in the rain, wet through to your core, cold, and there's no relief. There's nowhere to put your clothes because it's all wet. There's nowhere to get food because the fire's out. If you're watching this and you're on Survivor, I feel for you. People ask if there's a secret to success and a secret to some of the businesses I've done. There is no secret. It's hard work. It's a bit of luck. It's surrounding myself with great people and just keep going. You know, sometimes we see businesses as this too big a piece of the pie to start to chomp into. But at the end of the day, if you just take little bites, eventually the pie is gone. So I think at the end of the day is I have a huge care factor. I understand that people don't work for me, they work with me. And I love what I do. On Shark Tank, there was a question there that asked me whether I use my own money. Yes, definitely my own money. And look, on par, probably lost more than I made, and businesses are tough, startups are even harder. So it is hard in the business world, as people are watching this know. So, Shark Tank, I probably didn't do that great. However, I really enjoyed the process and I really enjoyed the business I worked with. People ask me, would I ever play Survivor again? You sleep 44 days. The last Survivor I did was in the dirt. People lie behind your back. You don't get fed. You're cold, you're freezing. You get completely primal because you're watching the sky of when the sky is going to be night or day. There's no toilet paper, it's a local leaf. And then there's also a plant that had sticky leaves or itchy leaves. Don't get that confused. I think you get a bit twisted. You come out a bit twisted. As my husband said, I came out a bit feral, a bit bogan. Oh yeah, I lost 11 kilos. Yeah, I was so skinny. I remember it was later in the season and I was sitting on the ground and I could not get comfortable sitting on the ground. And I couldn't understand why, but I had no fat on me. So it was literally just bones on dirt. So would I do it again? It's kind of a bit addictive. I would never say never, put it that way. I'm really passionate about health and wellness. I know that Boost is a component of that because it's about fruit and vegetables, but I truly believe that the innovation that's happening in the wellness longevity space is crazy good, and I'd like to be a part of that. Someone asked when to and how to get a business valued. It's nearly impossible. There is so many different valuations. The classic one is whatever your EBITDA is, for example, your profit, and there's a multiple based on that. And the multiple is, so for example, if you're making $100,000 and you're growing really fast, you might get a multiple of 10. So that $100,000 is worth $1 million. Or you could have a really established business and you're making $1 million profit, there might be a valuation of 1. So the business is only worth $1 million. So it really does depend on so many factors. They talk about negative cash flow, which I think is a bullshit valuation. I think the most accurate valuation is EBITDA, which is profit, times a multiple. I think that's the most logical valuation. And then so all you do is you look at your industry, what does multiple, so for example, you'll hear, the tech industry tend to have higher multiples because they feel like it's unlimited growth, where other businesses like infrastructure future might be a bit slower growth. So there is no answer. I mean, you can talk to an accountant, they'll have a theory, everyone has a theory, but at the end of the day, it's what you're prepared to sell for and what someone's prepared to buy for. It's as simple as that. What is the criteria for choosing the best location for the business? Once again, that is the answer to that is specific to your concept. Now, you may have a concept that doesn't need walk-by traffic, right? And so you could be on an alleyway paying really cheap rent. You could be a concept like Boost Juice Bars that needs to be on high traffic areas. So at the end of the day, it's difficult to answer because it really depends on your business. You know, if you're a hairdressing salon that is destinational, you may not have to pay the high rents of a street front. So really probably understand your business, and then that will help you understand where you need to put it. I think that a trend in entrepreneurship which is overrated, is this stupid thing that people call, which is imposter syndrome. I just don't think it's real. At the end of the day, we are all learning, right? You're not an imposter. You just know the information that you know at the time. And then tomorrow you'll know more, and then tomorrow you'll never be in a position where you're an expert. In actual fact, if someone calls you an expert, then you're in trouble, because if you're an expert, you stop learning. So if you get caught up with insecurities of, oh, I'm in imposter syndrome, I'm in a role that's beyond me, we're all in a role that's beyond us. But just acknowledge it, find out where your skill gaps are, and fill them with people or education. So this whole thing of imposter syndrome is just another way of people being a victim. If my life was a movie, who would play me? I'd like to think Julia Roberts. I'd like her to play me. Andie MacDowell, she's got the same kind of hair as me. I think she would be good. Jennifer Anderson, I think she would do a good job. I don't know if it'd be that exciting a story though. Not enough to be a movie. No, there was a time when I was in, where was I? In Tenerife, Spain, where I literally had guys in the back of my car, and I was trying to find a safe place for them because they had a contract on their lives. Oh, and there was a time in France where I hitchhiked, I got into a guy's car, and he was trying to drive me to this particular location and drove past it, and I thought, oh, I'm in trouble. And he said that he told me that he was a director of a place in Cannes Film Festival that did soft porn, and I went, I'm serious trouble here. And so I just played along. I said to him that I've always wanted to do soft porn, right? And because I just needed to get out of the car. And so I said, look, I've got to meet a friend now, but I'm really happy. Let's meet here. Let's meet we called it the Key. Let's meet at the Key at 11 o'clock the next day, and I will be there. And then I just got out of there as quick as I can. When I was traveling, there was no internet, there was no Facebook, there was no social media. It was all on your wits. I didn't have anyone to communicate. My parents wouldn't even know what country I was in, let alone anything else. No, but what it did do, it made you really lean into your wits. It really did make you go, right, how do I get out of this situation? Problem solving to get yourself out of it. And I think that's a really key thing in business that I took into business, is sometimes not solving the problem, i.e. being in a car with a psycho, isn't an answer.